We'll just go ahead and get started. And if other students join in the meantime, we just want to make sure you're able to, say your piece and get the information out. One quick announcement, this is being recorded, so we'll be able to share this out. So if you don't want your camera on and your likeness to be recorded, you can certainly turn that off. Yeah, we'll go ahead get started. So thank you everyone for joining. This is the Study Abroad for Theater Students presentation. Typically around this time we'd have our annual fair, but nothing's normal, so we're doing this week-long event and having these individual sessions in hopes to help students plan for study abroad. So we'll start off with quick introduction. So Julianne.
Yes, hi, my name is Julianne Angeli. I'm the Study Abroad Program Manager that works at the theater school. So I work with the faculty-led short-term programs.
Hi everyone, my name is Alma Sandoval and I'm an advisor in the Study Abroad office. I work with any student interested in studying abroad on the term-long program in Europe or Latin America. Specifically, I actually work really close with Fenty on the London Theater program.
And I'm Jean Williams and I'm the academic advisor at the theater school.
Hi, I'm Sue Fenty-Studham. I don't know if my mic's working. Can you hear me?
It is. We can hear you.
Oh, fantastic. It wasn't working before my last meeting. And I am head of stage management at the theater school, and I'm the liaison for the London Study Abroad. And I'm just here for a few minutes. I just wanted to join in and see what the conversation was, and then I'm going to head to class.
Yeah, and Fenty, as long as you're here, if you would like to give a little overview or talk a little bit about the programs that you're involved in or your experience with study abroad as a member of the faculty within the theater school, that would be fantastic.
Sure. I have been working with the London Study Abroad program with Alma for the last 2 years. We have 4 students going this year to Royal Central School of Speech and Drama, and it's programmed for design tech. And we have students from all different design technology disciplines joining us. And this year we are going to go in winter quarter, just in response to the pandemic. It wasn't viable for the fall quarter, but generally it is in the fall quarter. And it's a program where it's based around production practice, so you'll be assigned and mentored throughout the quarter. And you'll get to see London and theater shows in London. I wasn't planning on talking, so I'm just gonna let you take over, Julianne.
No, thank you. That was great. It's nice to get a little bit of a personal kind of take on what some of these programs look like. So thank you for sharing. I'm gonna hand it over to Jean now to talk about kind of study abroad, right? Is that what we're on?
No, sure. So as
Here we go, perfect.
As Fenty said, typically this is a fall quarter study abroad. It usually involves about 20 credit hours of coursework, all in performance. So there's a class called What is Performance? There's production practice specifically to whatever area of study you are in. Then there is a class specifically in your area of study as well, and what they're calling a critical assessment. But as Fenty said, so that it's really kind of fluid from my understanding of talking to other students who have gone to this program. And as Fenty said, you do have a mentor who is, there to help you through the program. And generally, of course, what you want to do is you want to ensure that your liberal studies are all complete or nearly complete, so that you can focus, on doing the study abroad for an entire quarter, and you're not concerned about finishing any liberal studies. what else? I don't know that there is any possibility of adding on any credit hours. It's generally you take these 4 classes, you're enrolled in those 4 classes. Also, just to be aware that generally when those grades come in, it takes a long time for them to come in. It's a big process and it's a long process, and they usually, you study abroad in the fall, and those grades generally don't post until the spring, just so that students are aware of that. I mean, those grades do get posted. It does happen, it's all there, and we're fully aware of it. But it's something just that you should be aware of. And as also usually about 4 students travel, and it's generally 1 student from, a different, it's never 2 students from the same program, like 2 stage managers or 2 scene design students. Generally, it's like a stage manager, costume design, scene design, lighting design, like that. So usually it's just 4 students who do travel. I'm not sure exactly if there is a specific, that is the limit, but that is has been my experience over the years, that it's only ever been 4. I think that's all I have.
All right, great. So thank you so much for sharing that perspective directly from the college. Alma and I are going to talk a little bit about some of the general pieces of these offerings. So we've heard a lot about this London program. There are also 2 faculty-led programs that are run by faculty affiliated with theater. So one is Fenty's program that she's hoping to run in the summer to Indonesia that looks at Balinese art and culture. And the other one is with Professor David Chak that goes to Poland and has more of an interdisciplinary approach. They're doing some museum studies, some theater performance, focusing on representations of the Holocaust. So there are some short-term programs as well that might fit in and might fulfill some of those liberal studies domains if you're earlier on and looking to meet those requirements. Alma, do you want to talk a little bit about some of the other longer term programs?
Yeah, so the London Theater is really the true option for theater students. We've had some theater students do other term-long programs. So it may be possible, but I would say it is a discussion. And so definitely have a discussion with your advisor to see if there are other programs that could fit into your degree progress. A lot of our programs offer a number of different courses, whether it's learning domains and sometimes theater-specific courses. But really the key for that is planning. The London Theater is just the one that's set up for theater students. So this is why we highlight that program for the design tech students. So kind of what Julianne mentioned, it's short-term and term-long. And how study abroad it generally works, all of our programs, you'll be billed for tuition for how many credit hours that program is for, plus a program fee. And so these program fees vary depending on what they include. Typically for short-term, and Julianne, correct me if this is not the case with theater students, but it usually includes airfare, and then your housing during the program, and may include some meals and program activities and things like that. On the term-long side, specifically for London Theater, I can say there's no airfare included, and that's typical for term-long programs, but your housing is included, and some activities may be included. And then anything out of that, outside of that program fees, kind of things you budget for out of pocket. But in general, for other term-long programs, they also vary. Some may include some meals, excursions and things like that. So definitely when looking at different programs, make sure to look at the program fee. If the most current program fee is not available, you can usually see the previous program fee and what it included to kind of plan for that. we have a point here about non-college specific options. So how our short-term programs work, they're led by faculty. And so faculty from the various colleges lead these programs. And so a lot of these programs will have learning domains attached to them. And so depending on your degree progress and the requirements that you need to complete, we definitely also want to recommend you look at these other options because, you know, if the theater ones work best for you, that's great. Those are the ones led by the faculty from the theater school, but there's also other programs that may help you fulfill your degree progress. So we definitely don't want you to feel like maybe these are your only options. There are other options. And again, it's just about planning and kind of researching and looking at what the classes that are offered, if they fit with your degree progress. And then, Julianne, do you want to talk about scholarships?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about scholarships. So for programs that are run through DePaul, your financial aid that you have through DePaul is still able to work with the programs. So it looks a little different, but depending on the type of aid, you're going to want to talk to your financial aid advisor to make sure that you fully understand how your financial aid package is going to address any costs associated with study abroad. But for DePaul programs, it is possible to, your financial aid does work with those programs. For all programs, if you apply by the original application deadline, so whatever the initial deadline is, you are automatically considered for study abroad scholarships. There is no additional application, no letter of recommendation, nothing else you need to do. Just submit by that first deadline. So, and I'm emphasizing first deadline because there are cases where we extend the deadline for an additional 2 weeks or there's other circumstances. You have to hit that first deadline. So if you want to be considered for scholarships, make sure you're meeting the initial deadline for any program to make sure that you're given full consideration for those awards. There are also external scholarship opportunities that you may or may not be qualified for. Those differ on an individual basis, but also with some program requirements. So for those types of opportunities, you would want to work with your study abroad advisor to help you kind of see what options might be a fit. And they'll also be able to help you through the application processes to varying degrees, depending on how familiar we are with those scholarship programs. So like, if you are a Pell eligible student, the Gilman is a fantastic scholarship opportunity that our advisors are absolutely trained to support you on as you're seeking funding. And it's a substantial amount of funding and also a prestigious scholarship opportunity. So in a lot of ways, a really good thing to pursue. So you'll want to proactively talk to your study abroad advisor about that and also be on the lookout for other opportunities that might be a good fit for your specific program and specific circumstance.